It was supposed to be an ordinary phone call. Just a few minutes. A familiar voice. A quiet night in a small Midwestern town. But on April 4th, 1991, a young woman's final moments would unfold live over the telephone, heard by the one person who loved her most and could do nothing to save her. Angela Marie Hammond was 20 years old. She was 7 months pregnant, and she was standing beside a payphone in the town of Clinton, Missouri, when someone pulled up behind her. What followed was not just a kidnapping. It was a crime witnessed in real time, a case haunted by a single detail, and a mystery that would take more than 3 decades to unravel. This is the story of Angela Hammond, and how the truth finally emerged 32 years later. Angela Marie Hammond was the kind of young woman people remembered. She was soft-spoken, warm, kind to a fault. Friends described her as gentle, optimistic, and deeply in love. She lived in Clinton, Missouri, a small, close-knit town where neighbors knew each other's routines and danger felt far away. Angela was engaged to Rob Schaefer, her high school sweetheart. They were planning a future together, and they were expecting a baby. 7 months pregnant, Angela was glowing, nervous, excited, and counting down the days until motherhood. She had no enemies, no risky lifestyle, no reason to believe she was in danger, which is why what happened next shook the town, and later the nation, to its core. On the evening of April 4th, 1991, Angela left her friend's house to return home. Before going inside, she stopped at a payphone, a routine act in the pre-cell phone era. She dialed Rob. The two talked casually. About the baby. About wedding plans. About nothing urgent. Then, during the call, something changed. Angela mentioned a strange pickup truck circling nearby. She described it calmly at first, almost joking. But then her tone shifted. She told Rob the truck had stopped behind her. A man was getting out. Rob later recalled the exact moment panic entered her voice. Angela said, "Rob, there's a guy here." Seconds later, Rob heard Angela scream. The phone dropped, and then silence. Rob didn't hang up. He stayed on the line, shouting Angela's name. Then he heard something else. A man's voice. Rob would later tell police that he heard a man say something that chilled him to the bone. "Shut up." The line went dead. Rob immediately jumped into his truck and sped toward the payphone location. When he arrived, Angela was gone. But the evidence was terrifyingly clear. Her car was still there. Her purse lay on the ground. The phone receiver dangled from its cord, and tire marks showed a vehicle had sped away. Angela had been taken mid-conversation, while someone who loved her listened helplessly. Rob gave the police every detail he could remember. Angela had described the vehicle while it circled. It was an older model Ford pickup truck, possibly from the 1970s. Distinctive features stood out: a raised back, a white cab with a green lower half, a wooden slat bed, and most notably fish decals on the side. This description became one of the most famous vehicle profiles in American true crime history. Police immediately flooded the area. Roadblocks were set up. Helicopters searched nearby fields and highways, but the truck was never found, and Angela was never seen again. Clinton, Missouri was paralyzed. This wasn't a city where women vanished. This wasn't a place where kidnappings happened in plain sight. Angela's disappearance broke the illusion of safety. Search parties formed overnight. Volunteers scoured fields, forests, and back roads. Flyers were plastered everywhere. But as days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. Angela was pregnant. Time mattered, and yet no ransom demands came. No credible sightings. No body. No answers. Over the years, dozens of tips poured in. Some claimed to have seen the truck. Others reported suspicious men. Psychics called in with visions. None led anywhere. Investigators considered multiple theories: the local predator, a passing serial offender, a mistaken identity abduction, or a crime of opportunity. But no suspect ever matched the evidence. No physical proof surfaced, and the case slowly went cold. Angela Hammond became one of Missouri's most haunting unsolved crimes. Rob Schaefer never gave up. He carried guilt for the rest of his life. He replayed that phone call endlessly. What if he'd told her to leave sooner? What if he'd called the police faster? What if he'd been closer? Rob continued working with investigators for decades, but the pain never left. Angela wasn't just a missing person. She was the woman he loved, and their unborn child was gone too. As years passed, technology changed. DNA databases grew. Cold case units expanded, and investigators revisited cases once thought impossible to solve. Angela Hammond's case was reopened multiple times. Each time, the same problem remained. No body, no crime scene evidence, only a witness account and a truck description. But then, something changed. In the early 2020s, investigators re-examined older suspects using modern techniques. One name resurfaced. A man who lived near the area in 1991. A man with a violent criminal history. A man who owned trucks matching similar descriptions. His name was Robert Charles Brown. Brown was already deceased, but his past raised serious alarms. He had been a known violent offender, and in 1989, 2 years before Angela vanished, he had kidnapped another woman in Missouri. That victim survived, and her account shared chilling similarities. Investigators compared timelines, vehicle access, and behavioral patterns. Everything aligned. In 2023, 32 years after Angela disappeared, authorities publicly named Robert Charles Brown as the prime suspect in her abduction and murder. He would never stand trial, but for the first time, investigators could say they knew who took Angela. The case was officially considered solved, but closure remained elusive. Even with the suspect identified, one question remains unanswered. Where is Angela Hammond? Her remains have never been found. Neither has her unborn child. For Rob and Angela's family, justice feels incomplete. A name is not a body. An answer is not a goodbye. Angela Hammond's case changed how law enforcement viewed real-time abductions. It showed how quickly ordinary moments can become fatal. And it reminded the public that evil doesn't announce itself. It waits, it watches, and sometimes it strikes in seconds. Angela's voice disappeared that night, but her story didn't. It echoed through decades of unanswered questions, through a man who never stopped listening to that final call, and through a justice system that finally spoke 32 years too late. Angela Marie Hammond was not just a victim. She was a daughter,
a fiancé,
a mother-to-be, and though her life was taken, her name was not forgotten. Because sometimes, even when justice arrives late, it still matters. Thank you for watching Silent Evidence True Crime Exposed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another chilling true story.